There are three things that are saving my ass. And a more spiritual way to put that would be, there are three things that are maturing my soul. And maturing our soul is not a topic that we hear a lot about. We will hear more about it. And the reason that we will hear more about it is because it is what is absolutely called for at this time in human history. We know how to be resilient. We know how to survive. We know how to get through. But maturing our soul, that is something that has to happen, and it will happen. We didn't come here as human beings to just do what the cows do, eat grass, have babies, and die. We came here to fully embody our divinity. And we all, interestingly enough, have had moments of that, but we haven't recognized it for what it is. And so those few moments of not recognizing it and it just becoming a passing story without it becoming embodied just doesn't mature us. It just gets us through the next day with an interesting story. What I'm talking about is most all of us have had some type of spiritual experience or some kind of divine intervention or some type of hint that there is something that is working in our behalf or calling us toward it or inviting us into a depth that our minds have not historically been able to go in this lifetime. And because we don't pay attention to it, another generation goes by. What's happening now is the human collective has reached such a state of beingness that a maturity absolutely has to happen. We are at a place where the alcoholic is, where a decision has to be made. We are in a place where a marriage is, where a decision has to be made. We are in a place where we are in relationship to family members and friends and work and money and to each other in the collective, where a decision has to be made. And the tools that we've used historically, for the most part, for many of us, especially in the West, is distraction and denial. And those can't hold anymore. We have to look deeper. And the thing is about that is that we have something inside of us that knows how to do this. We know how to do this, but not with the mind. The mind can't get us there. The mind can, as Joel Goldsmith talks about, the mind can be used to go out into the end of the springboard. But we have to jump into spirit. We have to jump into the depth of our true selves. And everybody rushes to the how. And my personal opinion is that because there's so much information out there, and it can be very confusing as to how to navigate this. Grab onto three things. And when I use the word grab onto, what I mean is focus. The chaos, the craziness, the insanity, the betrayals, the cruelty, the surprise at the cruelty, all of that are invitations to go into ourselves deeper. We have to do this. We have to do this. Three things. Gratitude. I know some of you may want to throw up with that. Maybe not. Maybe it's me. But I have had times where, oh God, please don't talk to me anymore about gratitude. And I know that when I have that reaction, I'm in pain, and I can't receive it. But I've also learned, I've matured enough to know that it will pass. That will pass. And the next day I'll be open to gratitude, and I just let that be. And each time I do that, my trust in gratitude and my willingness to go into gratitude is much more. It's quicker, and it gets it to stability rather quickly, and it stays. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. Before you get out of the bed in the morning, I am grateful. Thank you. I am so grateful. Thank you. I am so grateful. Thank you. I am so grateful. Thank you. I can feel that. And I know that if you heard that just now, you felt it. It's one of the best kept secrets. We are wired for that beingness. We haven't been told that, but we are wired for that state of mind, that state of being. The second thing is mantras. And, we can poo-poo these techniques, or we can find out their power. Mantras are so powerful because they speak what we want. I am open and I am willing to surrender to the evolution that is occurring in humanity right now. My body agrees. And let me tell you about the words "my body agree" for those of you who've never heard of that technique. Our minds and our bodies are wired together for survival and expansion. When our mind comes over here and joins spirit with a mantra, in that second, there is a shift in consciousness. There is a possibility of change. There is movement toward expansion into our spirit self. Our body is going to stay over here with a finger up in the air, because our body is not going to join that party until it knows that it is safe to do so, because its job is to keep us alive even if it kills us. Its job is to keep us alive, meaning stay in the same pattern of the old behavior no matter what, because it thinks it's going to stay alive that way. Whereas, as we all know, at a certain point, that does not work. It turns around and bites us on our ass. But mantra after mantra after mantra, that bridge is built, and the body will join the party. And now this theory that we've been working on, mind, body, and spirit are joined. And that's how we navigate life. I accept that the human collective is in a shitstorm right now. My body agrees. The mantras can be anything that you feel works for you. I surrender to the call of my spirit. My body agrees. I accept that there is a shift in consciousness within myself. My body agrees. I accept that there are people that I love, whom I love, who are not with me in this journey. My body agrees. I am willing to look for and discern the truth that will assist me on this human journey. My body agrees. I understand that there is a shift occurring. My body agrees. Each time there's a surrender to a higher consciousness. Those are touchstones. Those are reminders. The chaos of the world is extremely good at pulling humans into the story of fear, the story of powerlessness, the story of confusion. There are people who are very good at moving humans into a consciousness that serves them, that makes them, the humans, buy more, divide each other, keep them hidden behind the veil. They are very good at it. And we have to get good at what we came here to do, and that is to evolve. Evolve our soul so that we can move on this earth with power, with love, with discernment. Mantras work. They have saved my life, literally. They've saved my life. And they've saved a lot of my clients' lives. The clients that latch on to that technique and they put the little sticky notes everywhere and they put it on their phone as reminders and they put tattoos on, it works. It makes a difference in their lives. It's been amazing to me to be a witness to that. When they are when they surrender to those mantras, when they surrender to, I am changing my behavior, I am changing my thoughts. Which brings me to the third thing, judgment. When humans are afraid, we judge. It makes us feel safe, if ever so slightly. It makes us feel like we are in control. That if I can name that person's fault, I'm safe. And it's bullshit, but it works really well to the degree that it works. In other words, it will cause a disease and it'll cause disharmony. But it'll give you a dopamine hit for a second and it'll make you feel better about yourself, but not. It will make you feel protected. Your fortress has gotten another brick in it. Because I see you, and I see where you're wrong, and I see what's wrong with you. I see where you, And again, those individuals that I mentioned earlier, the ones who really know how to manipulate humans, they are very good at doing that too. Meaning, they are very good at fortifying the tendency in humans to use judgment as a safety mechanism. Extremely good at it. And it's not most everybody I know, they want to be a good person. I hear that so much. I don't want to be that. I want to be a good person. And, I always and oftentimes will say, why? Why do you want to be a good person? Is it because there's something inside of you that is good? Is it something inside of you that knows what love is? Is there something inside of you that understands that you are one with the person that you're judging? And the answer is yes. And that's why they want to be a good person. But what most humans have done is we've white-knuckled that tendency. I want to be a good person. While they have judgment in their heart. I want to be a good person while they have judgment against themselves. It's a house divided. It can't work. It cannot work. It will never work. It'll always be a smiley face. It'll always be a little smiley face that is veneer. There's no substance behind it. There's just want to. I want to be a good person. Well, guess what? You are a good person. You have the divine, the thing that created love inside of you. Best kept secret. get in touch with that, and your judgment of others it'll be so much less. You'll hear it you'll hear it in your head, and it'll be, that's not even true. And I don't believe that. And less and less will it come into your mind, because you don't have a belief. By the way, our thoughts come from our beliefs and the human collective belief. But inside, from within, is the human belief that creates thoughts. So the less there's a belief that humans suck, the less you're going to have thoughts about them sucking. It's amazing how that works. I am more hopeful this morning, and it feels sustainable. I'm not saying that the chaos and the craziness that is coming, and it is coming, because humans are choosing if they're going to be able to deepen their connection to love, or if they're going to stay in the material thinking and live from that place of disaster. I think that humans have had enough practice at getting all their goodies and finding out that it doesn't make them happy. Most of us have. I think that humans have had enough practice at being disengaged with their power. I think that humans have had enough religion, that vacant feeling that so many people have had to experience before they could go deeper into a spiritual oneness. We've had to have a lot of practice. It's just how humans are. And so here's one of the reasons I feel like I'm having a breakthrough, besides these 3 tools that I've been using, that, oh my God, I'm so grateful they're finally finding their legs. I've had enough time now where my faith in the individual journey got solid. It got very solid. I have seen individuals choose life. I have seen individuals go through their stories about who they think they are based on what was done to them, and taking it apart and examining what was never theirs to have, and discarding it and replacing it with the truth. I've walked with humans who they were teetering. They were teetering back to, I suck, I suck. I am a divine being. Over and over and over and over. Where I have been weak, and it has caused me so much pain, is having that faith in the human collective. I have not been able to transfer that trust and that faith in humans individually to the human collective. The human collective has triggered me. The human collective is like a very dysfunctional family that I have had enough of, that influences my life. And so that all that triggering that occurs with that is something that I've had to sit with. And I've not done it very gracefully, and I've done it beautifully in other ways. And I've just accepted that as a process. The ungraceful journey toward ourselves is just something that I have had to accept. And so I have more faith in the human collective than I did yesterday. That, of course, the human collective is made up of these amazing human individuals that are waking the fuck up to their divinity. One of the reasons that it's been difficult for a lot of us to have faith in the human collective, number one, is because we've been trained to give up our faith in humans Very well. Very well done. Where was I going with that? I was going... it was going to be good. The human collective and the faith in human collective. I lost my thought with that. Yes. Yes, the faith in the human collective, where we stop pretending that they aren't us. We stop pretending that the weak ones in the crowd aren't us. We stop pretending that the people with the money and the power in the material world are more powerful than us. I understand why there have been so many stories written about good versus evil. It makes so much sense to me that humans would make movies and write books and tell stories about that, because humans have such a powerful tendency to be selfish and such a powerful tendency to be loving. We haven't had enough time until 2 minutes ago where we've had enough practice at finding out what's working and what isn't working. We are experiential beings. We learn most often by human experience. We're moving more toward change as far as a shift in consciousness that can happen with a thought, can happen with a meditation, can happen with a new awareness. Those things happen, and they are getting more prevalent in my life and in many of the people's lives that I work with. But we still have to have experience in order to shift our belief systems that are destroying us and destroying this earth. So we've had enough experience now. We're still choosing, but we are now able to get to that free will, which was covered over in survival and all that entails. This is happening. This is happening. And I cannot tell you how delighted I am that I feel this. And let me tell you something about feelings. A lot of times with the mantras, people will say a mantra and it'll be just words. And so there's no faith in it because it's just words. And the reason that there's no faith in it is because the body cannot manufacture validation for those words until the words have been said enough and have been substantiated with spirit alignment for a bit for the body to say yes. So we stop saying the mantras, and we stop believing in hope, and we stop aligning ourselves with the oneness of divinity, and we stop going inside, and then we start looking at the outside world again for proof that we're safe, or proof that we're going to be okay, or proof that we're right. And there we are again. There we are again. So what is so delicious is that when the body can produce a yes with a mantra, now our minds can change. Now our minds get a little bit more on board. And then this beautiful magic where the mind and the body and the spirit are aligned while in the physical, while in the shitstorm, while in getting a text from a family member who has lost their minds. Even then, the body's like, yes, The body's aligned with divinity in that moment, in that second. And it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And that's why I am celebrating this morning. That there is some substantial trust in this process. All of this is happening to evolve humans. Every bit of it. Every single bit of this. There is a force of love, of loving intelligence that wants us to experience what it's like to be in the Garden of Eden without the rules. Without the silly don't eat the apple. Without the silly woman came from a man's rib. Without the silly you have dominion over. Without all of that silliness. In the garden of freaking paradise, where everybody is fed, everybody is walking in harmony with one another. We are creating art. There's love that is living. The flags that are raised up are flags of oneness. We have a ways to go, but I see something that I haven't been able to see fully. And that is that there is a shift in consciousness that is going to find its way here. These videos that help you, the books that help you, the movies that help you, the meditations that help you, the mantras that help you, the techniques of gratitude and non-judgment. Put your focus there. That feeds your soul. And there is nothing more important right now than feeding our souls. Nothing. 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 Thanks for going with me on this. Thanks for looking at me as another human being who's just finding her way. Big love. Love deeply. But don't be stupid.